Investors and traders, this is going to be a special report on the gold market. We will be taking a look at the gold market from a longer term perspective. So we'll be taking a look at the monthly charts and then weekly charts and then the shorter term daily charts. We will also cover silver a little bit, and then we'll focus on some of the gold equity stocks as well. So we'll take a look at some of the ETFs, such as the GDX, GDX Juniors, some of the major gold stocks such as Newmont Mining, Barrick Gold, and then also some of the other ones, also the royalty gold stocks as well. So as always, this video is for educational purposes only and it's not a financial advice. So what we are looking at is the monthly chart of the gold market. This is the COMEX Gold Futures. It is the continuous chart created by the data coming in from TradingView, and if you are using some other data service providers to eSignal, your charts will be similar, but your the continuous contract construction might be a little bit different. And if you are looking at the prices with respect to the spot market, this is the COMEX Gold, this is futures market. Your price will be slightly different, but overall pattern formation, it is likely to be similar. So before we actually go deep into it, just a reminder, this video is for educational purposes only and it is not a financial advice. So what we have here is we have been watching really carefully this 2700 as a key level, and last month we got there in the month of September, and then we had a slight pullback. But in October, the market is really strong, and it's actually right here where we have this purple ABCD completing right around 2724. This is where the market has been hovering around. In fact, last Friday it went a little bit above that as well. So the chances are, with the market being this strong, that the CD leg is actually extending, and it's not only that it's likely to be extending in this bigger ABCD purple pattern, but we have the smaller ones as well. For example, this brown one, then we have the black one, which is ABCD of this segment AB, projected from point C around here. And the interesting thing is that we actually get to a confluence level if these cycles are extending, and which I think they might actually be. Then the price objective that we could be actually looking at is in this gray box around here. So anywhere between 3000, which is the psychological level, to as high as 3300, there is a possibility that gold might actually be heading there. We do have this smaller pattern completion of this purple ABCD, of this big one, but this level, the market could, maybe go into a bit of a trading range, but with this sort of move behind it, it's likely to actually continue higher. Then we have another level, which is the 2936, which could be a potential target. Again, it's very close to the psychological level of 3000, and then we begin to actually move into this gray box around here. So just to show you from a cycle perspective, this brown one ABCD, if we just extend it, then we get a extension of 1.618 times of this AB line segment around 3300. And if we take a look at this black ABCD, then if we just extend it, we get to around 3080. And then if we actually extend, which I've not done here, by extending this purple one, but it goes to around 3171. That's the ABCD, 1.272 times of the AB leg. So that's the region where the gold is most likely to actually go with this kind of strength, unless we, on the shorter term, such as the daily chart, we begin to see some resistance come in, because it is this one-to-one price projection of ABCD around 2724. So we have to give it a few days for this to play out. These are really long term. You can see going back to the year 2000, when the gold was actually about to embark on its really massive bull market. And from a timing perspective, if we were to actually conduct this same exercise of constructing ABCD, but on the time axis, not on the price axis. So we go back and take a look at this major move which happened September 1999, so going back about 2 decades, 2.5 decades now, and the peak which happened in 2011, and we just projected from this low which came in November of 2015. We get a projection going into the October of 2027, which, as you guys know, is a few years away. So there is a possibility that the kind of move that we are looking at from a time perspective is likely to continue for a few years. And these cycles that we are looking at, we might actually go through these. We'll have a pullback. All markets go through retracements, and then we could have these ABCDs actually expanding further. So only time will tell, but this is a important date to watch, which is a few years ahead in time, in 2027. Now let's go back and take a look at the weekly chart. Here we go. On the weekly chart, we can see that, look, it's a pretty strong market. We had a bit of a consolidation around here. We also had 2500. We had a key level come in as well. So the market just went into trading range behavior. At one point, it did look like it might want to do a deeper retrace, but that never really happened, and it just took off. Starting from July of this year. And then if we go down to the daily chart, so on the shorter term, this is what we had been watching. We had a slight retracement, for about a couple of weeks, starting from the 26th of September right into the 10th of October. And this is where we were watching on the daily chart in our daily videos, which we do for the stock indices. And then it was a retrace right into the 61.8% retracement, and on the break of this trend line right here, the move continued right into the 1.272 expansion. This is where the market closed last Friday, but the chances are it's actually heading to 2765, which is going to be the 1.618 expansion of this little bit of a retracement that we had. I've not drawn this ABCD because those are, we discussed even longer term cycles on the monthly chart. Now another interesting chart that I would like to show you is this one here. This is a quarterly chart. It's actually a ratio of the semiconductors index, which is the SOX, and if we divide it by the gold bugs index, we construct a ratio. We get this really nice looking chart. We had seen a top come in the semiconductors ratio to the gold bugs in the year 2000, and interestingly, we had the Fed funds rates which were higher than 5% back then, and the internet and .com, a bubble was there, or the internet boom was there, and the .com boom was there. And if we just fast forward to nearly about quarter of a century later, 25 years nearly, we have Fed fund rates greater than 5%. We have got blockchain and the artificial intelligence in terms of the mega trends going on. And what do we see is that the semiconductors, when we divide it by gold bugs, the gold bugs have started to, the gold bugs are basically the gold miners, these smaller companies. They are actually starting to outperform the semiconductor stocks. So this is why we have seen a pullback coming here right into this 38.2% retracement around 1480. But if this it's not able to actually hold this, and we are really looking at a push down to about 10 structural support right here, 61.8% right here, so maybe down to 10. So that is possible. An interesting chart to take a look at. And if we were to look at it another way, we take NDX, which is Nasdaq 100, and we just divide it by the gold bugs index, and we see what do we get. So we get a chart which is slightly similar, but in this case actually it formed a new all-time high by getting above the highs of the year 2000, and so that's when the .com bubble was actually happening. and we are beginning to see where actually the gold bugs are actually starting to outperform. Now, how far could this pull back, and whether we're going to have some sort of a sharp pullback like this, I do not know, because what it means is really two things in terms of the ratio. Either the gold bugs begin to really outperform, or whether the Nasdaq actually begins to pull back, or a combination of both. So that remains to be seen. But what we are looking at is actually a situation where we have had the gold bugs actually begin to outperform, and this is a quarterly chart. So we are looking at 6 months, about 9 months now. Now we have had this situation before as well, but the key will be, in my opinion, that if one of the it begins to take the lows out of one of these really key structures, because that would mean that there is actually going to be a break of the trend, because it'll just take out the lows of one of these established bases. So we'll just keep on watching this trend line here. That's going to be an interesting one to watch. So gold, in fact, has been one of the best asset classes to hold in 2024. In fact, it has been outperforming some of the stock indices. One of the reasons on a fundamental basis has been because the Basel III ruling. The central banks are actually, and the banks are actually able to hold gold as assets on their balance sheets and lend against it. So that's been the case. Of course, there are central banks buying it, and there is some geopolitical uncertainty as well. So all combination of these things perhaps could actually lead to this really spectacular moves in gold that we have seen in 2024. Okay, now let's take a brief look at the silver market. So let me go back to really the monthly chart. So here we go. So silver, here we go. So there's a chance that silver could actually might be doing this a measured move, which could actually take it all the way pretty much close to this $50 mark. And this is, of course, has been the recent high. No, excuse me, not the recent high, the one of the all-time highs going back to 2011. So it might actually be in a formation to challenge these highs, or maybe even make a slightly higher high as well. And if we just go back and look at this from a trend line, here we go. So you can see that these are higher bottoms around here. So this is what we are looking at in the silver chart. Now I'm going to go move back to the let's take a look at some of the gold stocks and ETFs. So let's start with GDX. This is the gold miners ETF, and here what we have is we have been actually watching for this massive ABCD, and it just went into quite a bit of a trading range. And I believe what we have going on is, after completion of this pattern, right around the 2022 September, this ABCD actually targets 55. So this is most likely where we are going, and there is a chance that we could have a weird move like this, where actually GDX could go and form a new all-time high. So really interesting situation. What is happening with GDX? One of the things has been the miners have been actually lagging behind the commodity itself. Now we are beginning to see some serious moves coming into the miners as well. That's really interesting to watch. Now if we take a look at the juniors, which is GDXJ, these will typically include companies like Hecla, for example, maybe Nova Gold. Here we go, and this is also like last week. Very nice move, took out this swing high, and I think it's going for 65 or 66 level for this swing high now. So interesting one to watch. And now let's take a look at Nova Gold. This is one of the smaller gold miners, and here is something really interesting. You look at this chart and you think, what's going on here? We have had a series of lower highs and lower lows going back till the beginning of 2024, and it's like a really nice trend line here, but it's also like a channel formation. We can bring it down here, and but something really interesting happened, not the last week but the week before. So we saw a pullback like this, and it came right to the upper boundary of this channel, and then we did not have a follow through to the downside. In fact, we have had two consecutive positive closes for the week. And if we just go down to the daily chart, then what we have is this really nice ABCD formation, pretty much right down to the 61.8% retracement. So in my opinion, as long as this 312 is held, we are most likely in this ABCD higher. We did in fact see Nova Gold going above about more than $5, I would imagine, but things will change if the 3 spot 12 level is taken out to the downside. So Nova Gold is an interesting one to watch. Now let's take a look at the Newmont Mining. This is one of the major gold miners, and here we can see that a really nice looking trend on the daily chart, pretty nice accumulation around here, but on the weekly chart is where we were watching this one. And here we go, it has last Friday taken out the swing high, which means that it's starting this trend higher. And what we can take a look at is if we just draw a retracement from the highs back in April of 2022, the good thing you see is that it's gone above the 38.2% retracement. In my opinion, it's now going to go and target about $65, which is going to be this range. Momentum is increasing on the weekly chart pretty good because the price is above the 20-week moving average, is above the 89. And also look where the 200 is. So the momentum is now 200 week moving average is a really long-term one, and it looks like we might be actually in the early stages of a pretty nice big move to the upside, because something like this, when it happened previously around here, 2020 for example, we had a pretty nice move to the upside, and the chances are it might actually be the stock might actually go and test these highs again, maybe make a new all-time high as well. We have to wait and see. And let's take a look at the Barrick Gold. Here we go. This is Barrick Gold. So the Barrick Gold, not as strong as the Newmont Mining, but here a really nice trend line in play right here. And if we just take this as a possible really important low, we have several targets in terms of the ABCD. So they are pointing towards this gray shaded area around the $36 per share level. So this is possibly where this market is going. Again, it's right about where it closed, pretty much about $20. Yeah, $21 roughly. So that's quite a while away, but this is something which we have also seen in some of the other gold mining stocks. They just began to really perform well. So with the underlying commodity being that strong, the miners are lagging, but looks like if the demand will outstrip, then the miners will need to actually begin to participate as well. So now let's take a look at some of the other equity. So let's start with Whale. Whale is not just gold stock. They are, I believe, they are a Brazilian company, and they are into metals like base industrial metals and stuff like that. And we had been bullish. We were, I think, a little bit early to be bullish on this. And what it did is, I was thinking that perhaps here this low might actually hold, but it did not. And it went right down to the 78.6% retracement, and that has held thus far. And we had a really nice move in Whale about a month ago, 23rd of September, I believe. I'm not really sure. One of these big investment banks, a number of them, they actually raised the target on them on Whale. So Whale became pretty popular all of a sudden, and then we had a nice jump here, but for the last 3 weeks just pulling back. Chances are it might just be a pullback, and we might be actually looking at targeting this descending trend line. And if it is able to which comes around $13 to $14 per share level, but the chances are we are actually heading for this swing high, which is about 16. So that's what I would be targeting for Whale, as long as we do not break the 5th of August lows. So keep on watching this massive triangle or pennant formation right here. If we begin to break above this trend line, that's really positive for this stock. This one is Agnico Eagle, pretty strong looking week last week, and what we can see is Yeah, it's going into that region where we have previous fair amount of resistance here. So let's see what it will be able to do. If it's able to actually convincingly break above it, that's going to be fantastic for it, because it could just air above this level. So, and if we just go to the daily, this is what where we were watching some of the pattern formations, and there we go. So we have this bigger ABCD pointing to about 95. So it looks like the stock might actually be heading to 95 if it's able to clear above this swing high of about 90 bucks. There's a chance maybe it's going to go for 95. Then let's take a look at Eldorado Gold. And this one is interesting because now I haven't done the videos on the gold miners in a while actually, but in the summertime especially we were following these quite regularly, and we had some ABCD targets on them, and it actually met the smaller ones, such as this black one here, the blue one here, and then we had this purple one, which is this bigger one. It actually completed that as well, and now it's moving in a channel formation right here. You can see that's pretty nice channel formation. It had a really nice start to the trend. Now that strong trend is changing into a channel formation, so I think it's likely to move in this channel formation quite some time. Then it might begin to transition into a trading range behavior. And on the weekly chart, here we go. So looks like there's a chance that what it is doing is it's going through this extended period of accumulation, and the big test will be around 25.50, breaking above this swing high going back all the way to 2016. Then we are looking at about 43 bucks, which is going to be the 38.2% retracement. So look, it's just gone into a really long trading range for several years. You may call it consolidation, however you want to call it. And this is the thing with the miners, one has to be really careful because they go through massive cycles. So you'll have a big boom and then you'll have a big bust as well. So it looks like the miners are waking up a little bit. And if our analysis on the underlying gold with the timing is correct, so 2027, I think the miners will have to do much better, because there is going to be quite a lot of demand coming for these kind of miners mining gold and some of the other metals as well. Now let's take a look at Gold Fields. Do not know much about this one, but looks like fairly choppy kind of price action, but again moving higher in a channel formation. This one is Harmony Gold, and Harmony Gold had a really nice wedge pattern formation. It actually went as high as, this is 61.8% retracement of this entire all-time highs going back in 2002. So it's really interesting in my opinion. If we get above this 61.8% retracement, around roughly around 12 bucks, it has a chance to make a stab at maybe new all-time highs. So Harmony Gold, an interesting one. Mag Silver. Okay, so it's gone right into this swing pivot here. If it's able to break above this, I think it could do a major move where we can see about 25 bucks, perhaps these highs being challenged. This is Vista Gold. Vista Gold is, you can see, yeah, I don't know too much about the company. But it has it has taken out this gap formation. This is really constructive for it. So maybe it could pull back a little bit. But if it does, I think what it's going to do is going to do an A, B, C, D, and maybe go for this swing around here, which is going to be about a buck. And this one is what, First Majestic, and you can see the First Majestic also had a nice week. But a lot of work needs to be done about this one. I don't know much about this company, so I'm going to skip. Alamos Gold, look at this really nice looking trend. So this is the thing with the gold miners. You see that you have to be really careful in your selection. And look, when it broke this trend line around here, and then it just broke this one here, like this. With an overshoot, and boom, I think, yeah, it's just gonna go for the, it has actually made new all-time highs, and it might just continue to do that. This one is Cameco Corporation. So Cameco is, I think, involved with gold. Excuse me, for with copper. I'm going to show you the chart of copper as well, and it's just making new highs. There you go. So there is quite a lot of demand coming for copper. I think copper has actually put in a pretty interesting bottom, which might be a good bottom. And look, this stock has got air above it, so I think it can easily expand to, if we just take the expansion of this, here we go. Yeah, 61, 62, and then 68, 68, 69 roughly. This one is Endeavor Silver. So the silver stocks are likely to also begin to do better now. So this one is, I think, in the early stages right here. Could be a double bottom formation here, and then we could see a stab towards this swing high of 775. That's the Freeport McMoran. So this is a really interesting one. What we think is that we are in this ABCD formation higher, and we could see price as high as about 68 to 70 bucks, which will be a new all-time high for this stock. But you can see there, like it makes a move higher, then retraces 50% of it. Then it makes a move higher, retraces 50% of it, and 38.2% retracement of it. So they're big retracements. So one has to live through that. But the chances are we are actually moving towards about 70 bucks in this one. Franco Nevada. So this is really interesting because it's one of the royalty stocks in gold. So I think you have to do a little bit of investigation if someone is looking to take a position in the miners. You have to be very, very, very careful. Also look at where their mining is, which sort of countries they are mining into. I think that makes a big difference, in my opinion. Now, one of the things is that this one is also royalty stock. So this means that they're not really miners themselves. They have some royalty things constructed where they're actually generating revenue through royalty. So really interesting model. And depending upon the situation, sometimes the royalty stocks do much better. Sometimes it's actually the miners. One thing you'll notice is that the royalty stocks are typically higher priced because they have less risk premium as well. So there we go. This one I think has been in this trading range now. It formed a bottom around here in February. It looks like it wants to go test the top of this trading range. This one is we have already taken a look at GDX. This is Barrick Gold. We have already taken a look at this one. This is Hecla. So I think the Hecla is in the middle of a nice move to the upside, and we could see 1150 on Hecla. This one is the ABCD. So Hecla has a pretty good chance. One of the junior ones, you have to be careful with Hecla because you can see when they begin to retrace, they can retrace a lot. But this formation looks like we are in this ABCD higher. And then we have McEwen Mining. Don't know much about them at all, so I'm gonna skip those. Newmont we have already taken a look at. This is New Gold. I don't know too much. I'm gonna skip that. This is Pan American Silver. So this one, a really interesting one because it had a pretty big move last Friday. Let me actually go down to the daily chart. Let me show you this. Here we go. So the Pan American actually last Friday, it had a 10.5% move in one day. So that's saying something that there's something up in the silver market. And on the silver chart, we had a look that silver has got a chance as well, and maybe gold has been much stronger. Maybe silver is going to play catch up. So it went through this accumulation around here. This is like the spring S for a spring. It's one of the Wyckoff's concepts, a lot of accumulation. Looks like it wants to go and test 26.5, which is going to be shorter term target, but it could actually go and take a stab at these swings around 30. And on the weekly chart, we come down here. So I think 30 is something, 61.8% retracement. It could actually achieve that. This is Royal Gold. It's also one of the royalty stocks, and one thing is that it looks stronger than Franco Nevada because it's already taking out the highs of this entire trading range. So an interesting one to take a look at. And if we were just to take a expansion of this trading range, here we go, here we go. Yeah, looks like the next stop for it is 165 followed by 185 for the Royal Gold. Southern Copper Corporation. So as I mentioned that copper is likely to make a nice move. I think what is happening with this one is if we just draw a really nice simple looking trend line like this, we have broken above this, and then of course we have a triangle formation like this. It's like a dynamite triangle. And if we were to just, I'm just looking at really shorter term, I think we are looking at around $140 to about $150 for Southern Copper Corporation. Wheaton Precious Metals looking strong last week. I think yeah, it's just making new all-time highs. Don't have a target for it. Just gonna do a really shorter term one. So it's already there, 66. After that, maybe $75. Kinross Gold has had a fantastic move in 2024. It's making new highs. Excuse me, it's not making new all-time highs, but it has taken the swing high. This one is looking pretty good. And let's take a look. Yep, here I just want to draw a retracement. Yeah. Here we go, draw a retracement. Here we go. Yeah, I think 11 and a quarter. That's where 38.2% retracement is. If we're able to get above that, we're looking 17 and a half. That's going to be so good for it. Nova Gold, we already took a look at that. So this is what we are watching in terms of the different gold miners. Yeah, there is one which we had not taken a look at. It's the Sibanye Stillwater. It's the company out of South Africa. I believe it's in world's number 2 for platinum production. Platinum and maybe even palladium as well. So, those are more of the industrial metals being used. And here we have been watching this one for quite some time. And actually, at one time we were getting bullish on it, but it turned out to be disappointing. Because 9th of September it actually made a new low, and that's very close to the lows of what it did in 2018. But what is really interesting is that what happened after the August 2018 is a big bull massive run, where it went and found actually new highs. So whether it's likely to do the same, I don't know. It's difficult to say. But what I could say is that it's very close to its double bottom formation pattern as well. So the chances are that we just keep on watching Sibanye. It'll be really good if it is able to take out these swing highs. In fact, about $6 is roughly the target we can come up with, and then 779, which is going to be this swing high. Then 985, and then at 985 it will be beginning to look pretty good, and then the stock could do quite well actually. And then here, if we just come back to the daily chart, this is where we were actually getting bullish on it because of this spring formation, like a lot of consolidation here, accumulation, but it just fell apart. It went lower, which was disappointing to see, but it has made a pretty good recovery and then a retracement, about 50% of this move. What will be really nice is if it is able to get above 475, then it will increase the chances that it's going to go and take a stab at 6. 6 is kind of our target, which is this swing highs, but if it's able to get above that, that's really good because it means that it wants to go higher. It'll be really interesting. So this is what we are watching in the gold market. We have in the special report, we have gone through really long-term cycles operating in the gold market. We had a look at the silver market as well, and we've gone through a number of the gold ETFs, the GDX, the GDX juniors, and a number of the gold mining stocks. While we are here, let's take a look at the high-grade copper. And this is the daily chart, and in this, what I'm watching is right here. So it has had a really fantastic move in the first half of 2024, and then it had a really massive retracement as well. It retraced about 78.6% of the lows which came in October of 2023. Now what's happened is that it rallied right to the 50% of this move, and now it has retraced this much around here. And with the expected weakness coming in the US dollar, I think there's a chance that copper is likely to benefit. And if that's the case, if you just draw this trend line, we have these higher bottoms around here. So if it is able to actually break above this trend line formation, this is the supply here, we could be looking A, B, C, D, taking copper above these highs. So that's going to be a really interesting one to watch. And let's see what we have on the weekly chart. And on the weekly chart, yeah, there we go. Just really nice looking trend line like this, and maybe it's going to be an ABC challenging these highs around here. And then if we just look at copper since 2020, it's just been going up and having a 50% retracement. This is the thing with the commodities, the retracement could be pretty brutal, about 50%, 61.8%, maybe about 78.6% at times as well. That's why they say commodities are volatile, but it actually means is that they move in a cycle. So if you're able to identify that cycle, which phase of the cycle they are in, and position accordingly, they could be pretty nice. But that's a pretty difficult thing to do. So again, thank you very much for watching the video. If you like our technical analysis, then please give it a thumbs up, the video. And if you think you learned something from this video, you like how we are looking at these markets in terms of technical analysis, then please do subscribe to the channel. And if you do, then hit that bell icon button. That way you will know when the new videos are posted and you will not miss on anything. So thank you very much. Good luck, good trading, and speak to you guys soon.